So how can you study for examination purpose? The first tips is reading, the deep and depth reading. Whatever you want to study, you should have to follow deep and depth reading. What is deep and depth reading? What is deep? Deep means you should have to have motivation for studying the subject. If you have interest to study, then you will read the subject deeply. How can I have interest in a field? First, you have to have a deep breathing. Deep breathing means when you are breathing, you should understand that you are living in this planet for doing something. Before reading, you think a proper person who taught you or the writer of the author of the book. Okay, then you think about his or her breathing, how could be at the time of writing or at the time of teaching. So you should have to understand the purpose of the book, purpose of the teaching. Every subject of studies not have the same breathing, wave of breathing that differ from subject to subject. So you want to understand first what is the wave of breathing that differ from subject to subject. When you are reading, the wave of breathing that differ from sentence to sentence, subject to subject. So that means the length of breathing is differ from area of subject. The length of breathing is interconnected with understanding of the sentence. Whenever you study, you should have to divide the sentence into 2 or 3 or 4, such as democracy. You can tell the word democracy, demo plus cracy. So, you can tell the word as one word, democracy. So, demo means people, cracy means ruling. So, ruling of the people. When you're studying, you study like that. You don't tell normally democracy. That is, normal public are telling that one. But you are educated, you are studying, so you want to study. Not like that. Demo plus cracy is your studies, but normal public can tell that democracy. So that's differ from normal public. You could get laziness. At the time, you can call your friends and you could read with your friends and compare the subjects or compare the sentences. What's the meaning of his thought? What's the meaning of yours? So you can tell your own meaning to him or her at the same time. You can receive the own meaning of your friends. So the reading is differ from person to person. When you are starting to read, you should have to point out with the pictures. So you don't see the picture normally like normal people. Then as an educated, you can see the picture in different views. If you have different view than others, then only you can be a special person than others. That means you should have to be a special person. You should have to look the things specially differ from others. That means you should have confidence when you are reading. This is the good idea for reading. Tips 1. Method 2. Study. The method 2 is study. The studying is different from reading. Studying is really reminding something. How to remind something on brain. When we are studying, that means reminding, that could be long-term reminding or short-term reminding. The studying is mainly depending on understanding. So we can watch now, step by step, how can we remind something for examination purpose or any purpose, long term or short term. If you want to study anything for examination purpose, you have to write the things which you want to remind. The first step is for studying, writing. When you are writing, you look your point of your pen. If you look the point of your pen when you are writing, then that could remind the meaning of the sentence on your brain. The writing with hand, that means handwriting, is better than typing in computer. If you are writing anything, that will be deeply concentrated by you. Now I am going to show you an important tips how to study writing form. So if you have completed your first step, that is reading, then you can take some short points from the reading. How to remind it? If you want to remind your reading, if you want to remind the headlines, you want to write the headlines on a piece of paper. What are the headlines you have already read? You know here, you can write down the headlines one by one by one. If you write down the headlines one by one, you want to understand that you should have to write down in this way. Heading level 1, heading level 2. That means 2, 2 sub 1, 2 sub 1, 1, 2 sub 1, 1, 1. Like this you want to write down. So your short forms should be the headlines, only the headlines. You can write down in multiple ways the headlines for reminding. You see here, this is also the headline writing method. Then you don't want to open your book or exercise book which you have already studied. Now you only watch the headlines. When you are watching the headlines, the inclusive items that should run on your brain. So whenever you go out, even if you go toilet, also you take these headlines, the piece of paper, and you think about the headlines. You watch the headlines. When you read the headlines, for reminding purpose, you read the headlines from subcategories. All the things want to come on your brain. If all the things that come on your brain, then you forward. Even not, you open the book again and then watch it. Then close the book. Watch the headlines. If it is not come on your brain, you open the book and read it. It's come on your brain after you close. So now you are going to do one work. What? Open and close the book for functioning of brain. Sometimes you could feel alone when you are studying at home. At a time you can go to library or your friend's house. You can have a comparative study with them. When you're comparing your knowledge with your friends that which you have studied, then you can talk and you can write also. There are two types of things that you can do. One is write down without watching the book for the headlines. Until you get satisfaction, you close the book, write down for the headlines. If you are not satisfied, you write again and again. That's a good motivation for studying for the examination purpose. Because of if you are writing everything which is on your exercise book or book for the headlines, then you can have a good confidence for the examination. And you don't want to worry about examination. Any exam you can pass if you do such a manner. This is my steps to. Hello friends. Now we are going to see the final method that recalling and boosting the brain. If you want to recall the brain without any document, you want to think about your subject that you already have studied. What are things that coming on your brain or what not come? So, for recalling purpose, you can have a piece of paper with the headlines, but without watching that recall, is it come or not? If it is come, then you don't watch the headline also, even you don't watch the headline. If it is not come, you watch the headline and then think about the headlines. That is the recalling. You recall, you have confidence, you already have studied, so you have confidence, you can recall the method, the matter, what you have studied, you can recall. If it is come or not, you don't worry, because of you have the headlines on your hand. If you see the headlines and sub-headlines, if it is come on your brain, you could be happy. You can be happy. Yeah. If it is not come, also you have books, the exercise book and notes book, the short notes, everything that you already have. If it's even not come, you open the big books and then you study and recall. Recalling is very important for studying because of whatever we study at the examining time, they are only checking how we recall the method we already have studied. So it is the final step also. When we are recalling, then if all the things, all the matters that we already have studied that come, then only we can get good mark. So therefore, the recalling is very important for examination purpose. Second thing is for recalling, identify the micro differences. First, micro differences and macro differences. You do know if you want to do the exam very well rather than the other student, you should have to identify the micro differences. The micro differences are very important to pass to get high marks in an exam, in any exams. Because of the exams are depend on the micro differences. Most of the exams, you know the questions, even the MCQ questions, multiple choice questions, they are mainly depend on micro differences. That means the macro differences making complications. Macro differences are very well known things. For example, apple, banana, orange. The final thing is boost your brain. If you want to boost your brain, you want to have good healthiness. So you should have to exercise first. And then you should have to have good food items. Okay? And then you should have to have good sleeping. If you have good sleeping with good exercise and good food, then your brain will be automatically boosted. Then what you want to study, what you want to do in exam, that you can do by using your studying method. This is the last method for the studies for the examinations. Thank you.